Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be taking you Paystack payment integration. We're going to be installing Paystack packages with Laravel. We're going to prepare a form for payment, set up database, and store payments into DB. So follow me as I take you through this tutorial. I already have a fresh Laravel application installed. I have a form page that is blank, no form is here yet, and this is just a blank application. Then we have my route. There's nothing in the route. Nothing in the route. So I'm going to be creating PHP artisan we'll be creating a model with controller, model, and database. So I will be creating a model called payment. So you have our MC how. So once we have this, automatically we have payment generated with model. We have the payments, we have model, and we have a controller generated based on this small code that is written here. So once this is generated, then we're going to install our package. Now, how do we install the package? You can download this from, go to the GitHub. On the GitHub, you can type, you can go to for step-by-step guide. We have Laravel, Paystack, Paystack. So you can just search on the YouTube. Once you start Laravel Paystack, my internet is a bit slow, so we have this. So you can always select this. So we have this Laravel Paystack. Once it is loaded, all we have to do is to follow the instructions step by step and see how that can be done. So this, we're still waiting. And while we're waiting, we can check our model, controller, and the table, the model, controller, and the database table if it has been created. You can see created migration. The migration has been created. Let's check if the controller has been created. We have the controller. So controller is yet to be created. So let's wait for it. It's a bit slow. So while we're waiting, we can also check on this. This has been created. You can see our screen. Now the way everything has been created, so we can move on to our application. So I needed to brighten my screen a bit, not brighten my screen. So we can follow this instruction. This is the Laravel package. So if I want to install, you can just copy this information and install. Or better still, I can use this if I so want. can use this and put it in my composer.json. So I'm going to use this by directly copying this. So once this is done, we can easily come to this side or probably create another terminal. So in another terminal, I'm going to be having this, so I can paste. So my composer require Unicode developer. So that's what I'm using. So once I paste this, I enter, automatically this composer require is going to be installed. So that step has been taken. And if we go back to the previous ones, I hope this is done on time. I don't know why it's taking this long. So this time seems to be misbehaving. Okay. I want to change the view of this system. All right, so you can easily go to, okay, we're already installing our package. That's for the composer. It's already installing. So all this is done in no time. So let's get our model. Let's check if our model has been created. Can you see? The model is already there. Let's check our database migration. So we already have payments, so it's already there. So we're going to be having our payment parameters, amount paid. We'll talk extensively on that later. So let's go back. Hopefully we have our controller, and if it's not there, we can easily create it. I hope no error is shown here. Depends on our internet. This will be depending on internet. If the internet is fast, download is gonna fast. I'm gonna pause this, then come back to continue with the tutorial. So just wait for it to finish the installation, then. Okay, so now while we're waiting, we can also get our form ready. Now, if you look at this, then you need to run composer install, composer update if you are using this method. Once this has been installed, we need to register. We're going to do that. So we want to copy our form, the form that we are going to be using. So we need to get the form. So this is going to be our form for payment. So I'm going to copy this. So I'll put it in my form resources. Inside my resources, I have my view, I have my form. So here I'll have my form pasted. So form is ready. So we can adjust this form based on our needs. So but presently the form is ready for use. I have an error. Unexpected command in composer line so. Yeah, if you're having an error, you can run it again. So if you update it, good, it's been installed. So that makes sense. So our migration and controller has been installed. So we have our payments controller, everything is ready. These are payment controller. It's been installed. We have our form, we have our route, So since we have the payment controller, we can easily route, can create a route that will get, we have a getter route. And what it does is we want to get make payment. For form, it's going to get that form. Let's call it get form. Get form. So we're going to be having a payment controller. So which is show. So this is a form already. We can name it form. So anytime we're accessing this, it's going to present us with the show function. So we have our payment, and under our show function, we can return, view, we can return a view. So the name of our view is going to be here. So we're going to return our form blade form that is inside view. So once we navigate to get form from our browser, we expect from our browser, we're going to have get form. I hope everything is working fine. Make sure there is no double working. Wow, payment controller does not exist. Now, let's see what could be the problem. We have payment controller does not exist. Now, the system is complaining about the payment controller, and the payment controller does not exist. Whereas we have the payment controller here, but it's not seeing the payment controller. So what could be the problem? Let's go over our code. So we have payment. Let's see where we have it. We have controllers. Inside controller, that's where we have this. So we have payment controller. Okay. So for us to access this controller, we need to we can write it like accessing, that is, we are accessing out slash http slash controller. So this is one way of accessing the controller. So if you try to load the page would present itself, will be made available to you. This is app http controllers with S. So when you load the page, so when the route pay is not defined. Route pay is not defined because we have call route pay in our form. Now let us make things straight here. In our form, we are already calling on route pay. which is not existing yet. So we're going to remove this so that our code can run easily. Let's refresh our page. So it's still giving us an error. So I'm going to remove the whole of this one for now so that we can achieve our work. So let's refresh. Payment form is here. So this is where we're going to be having our information pasted. We're going to have our form that will be paying here. So let's quickly do that. I'm returning the form with the route pay. So the form is back. So now that the form is back, we want to see how the form is going to, remember we copied this form from here. We copy this from this place. So there's no magic, nothing is done yet. So since we have installed our package, we need to register the package. So we're going to register the package. Remember the first thing we did was to install via Composer. That is, we install by copying this. Then after that, the following thing that we need to do is to register our package under config /app.php. So we are going to copy this. We're going to copy this and register it. So this is going to be the class that we're registering. We're registering this package so that it will be available for use. So now all we have to do is to copy, then locate this in our application. Let's go to application, go to config. So inside here, we have our config file. Our config is right here. Yes, these are config. So we have app. Let's check it again. We have config app.php. So this is the app.php. So we'll locate where we have our providers. So we have the provider. So let's see where our providers are. So once we have our provider, we see these are the provider and these are the classes that have been registered. So we can see all the registers class that are available for use. So we can also add our class to it. What we do is just to paste what has been copied. So by so doing this, we have registered our Paystack class. So this class will be made available for use in our application. The next thing is to register the facade like this. So we're going to register this also in the facade. We'll locate the aliases inside the same root. We also have aliases. So we can also register this. So once we register this, then the application is almost done. So the last thing that we're going to be doing is we can publish the application. We're going to use this to publish. So we copy and go to our command line, we paste. Then can you see it has been published? So our Laravel application is readily available for use. So now we need to understand some things. The configuration name paystack.php with accessible default to be placed in your config directory. So in our config directory, we have some of these things, the public key, the Paystack secret key, Paystack URL, and the merchant's email. So these are the things that we need to get our payment flow. Now, our payment flow, you can take your time to read all this flow, but I don't want to waste the time so that you can quickly move on. Now, look at this. We have our web hook. Where can we get this web hook? The web hook is right there in our payment gateway portal. We have a portal already created, so we can make use of it. Now, in our routes, we need to create routes, which is called the pay routes, which is what our Laravel was requesting for the other time. So we'll copy this, we'll make it our pay, or we can use this. So inside our routes, our web route, we're going to have something like this. So now, if I try to run application, you see we're still having error. Yes, we're still error because we still have one or two things to be set up. Now, let's go back to our code. I mean, the GitHub that we are following. So on the GitHub, we have set up this, we have set up this. Now, for Laravel 8, because we are using Laravel 8, we can also use this instead of using the other one. Now, for Laravel 8, we're going to use this because this is like a method of routing in Laravel 8. So we use this, we're going to replace this with this. So this is Laravel 8 conventional way of writing our payment. So this is the callback function. This is callback function. Oh, sorry, I've replaced something. Okay, so we have this. We have our callback function. I'm going to explain this shortly. Now, in our Laravel, let me put this here. Let me put this here. Good. So now, in our payment, we're going to have, in our payment controller, we're going to have a function called redirect to gateway. So this function is going to be capturing our payment and send it to the appropriate place. Now, after the payment has been completed and we want the information to come back to us, so we're going to return, this is the callback. So that is when the application is returning the parameter for payment, it will be coming back to this, the payment callback, it's called. Then we are going to set up a method inside our payment controller through which our application would be, the parameter will be submitted. So let's quickly look at the example, then we'll understand better. Now look at this. This is a controller, as I said. Now the controller that we've set up, we're going to set up exactly the way we're seeing it there. So we're going to be used Paystack. So the way we have it here, we're going to be using it. So we're using Paystack. So we direct, make sure this, we direct, blah, blah, blah. So I need to use something with direct. So now we want to make sure that we have this function called redirect gateway. This one with any information submitted, I'll take it to the gateway. while our callback is going to return to this, just as we have in our route. So I'm going to copy this. I'll copy this to method and paste it inside our controller. So I can paste it right here. Yes, I can paste it right here. So it's been pasted. So is there any error? Yes, it's complaining of this curly brace. So now that the curly brace is gone, we have our information. So I don't know why that is complaining, but let's quickly check if there's something that is missing. We're using use Paystack. Let me be sure what I'm doing. Just want to be sure. There shouldn't be error here. So I don't know why this is flagging. So let me quickly check through to be sure I'm doing the right thing. Let me clear some stuff here that we now actually need. You can record them if you so want. So for now, I don't need all this. For now, I am not using all this. So that I want to know where the error is coming from. Where I still don't get where the error is coming from. So all I have to do is to copy this and probably place directly, use it to replace my it shows that one of our work is not so we're going to have okay, so we have all this. So what we need now is to check our application. So we are getting error because of the URL the URL that is placed in our view. So before we proceed, we need to get some information from our Paystack dashboard. So we need to get the secret key, the test key, and the secret key. So So we're going to come here. Okay, so call the live key and the secret key. So this is just for my own testing. We can do the live public key. So we can get the secret key. So I'm going to be using the test key. So once you go to your Laravel dashboard, you have the test key, then you have the public text public key. So you're going to copy the text public key that you'll be using. So you can go to your Laravel or GitHub and go to your GitHub. So inside our GitHub is a portion of code to be edited. That is what we have in this place. So we need to get all these parameters and change them, modify them to suit our purpose. So now I'm copying this. So inside my application, I'll go to my .env file. So my .env file, which is here. I'll paste this and paste it anywhere. So it can be anywhere. I'll put it here. So I'm going to copy my public key and the secret key. I'll put it here. And this is going to be my own Gmail. I'll put my Gmail here. So I'm going to pause this video, put all my secret key here, then resume again after that. So you can as well do that in your home code. Look for your Paystack secret key and the public key and paste it in your application. So I'm pausing. All right. The public and the secret key has been inserted. So the next thing is to check. The next thing is to check, be sure that, okay. Another thing that I didn't mention there is the callback function. Callback function is the function where my application would naturally go. So if my callback function is set to wherever I set it to, that's where it's going to go. So I'm going to have my callback function go to payment.callback. So this is going to be what I have. I have payment/callback in my route. So if you check my route, that's exactly what is inside my route. So my route, I have my callback function here. So this is my payment/callback function. So automatically, this will be delivered to payment controller with this callback method. So now let's go back to our form and see what exactly is going on with the form. Now this is our form. This is our form. So we want to see if we run our form, are we still getting error? Yes, we're getting error in the form. It's talking about the splitting, which is a JSON splitting. So the split is not support. The split JSON is not support. Now let's go back and see what this JSON split is all about. So this split supports split transaction. So if you want to pay into two banks, so you make use of this one. Obviously, I'm not going to use this in my application. So also I have split transaction. If you want to use split transaction, this is also Good, that's a split code. I'm not using that as either. So let me still check. I still have error. Good. No more error. So, but my form is not properly aligned. So I'm just going to use a small method to align the whole process. Well, you can integrate, you can add JavaScript in Bootstrap to this, but that is not the goal of this tutorial. So that's why we just want to get this done so that we can have. So it's not working. Yes, it's not actually the best method to do that. But we can at the same time get yes, but we don't have Bootstrap, but I think what we are trying to do is to clear enough. So I wish I have Bootstrap here. We could get some Bootstrap. So get Bootstrap. So I'm going to add a bit of Bootstrap to the page so that at least I can have my way. So this is a Bootstrap. So I'm going to be copying this. So let me copy this and paste it on top of the page. So I'll put it there, see the effect. So hopefully we'll get better. Good. Now we have a better form. So I can use something like this. I'll div it. Can class align. So you can have this for form. Hopefully it will work. Still not working. Okay. We can change it to something like a container. Okay. We have a container. Can double this. Can call this a card. So we can put it in a card. Yep. So this can be card. Okay. So I'll close. I'll close it twice. Good. So now let's explain the form. What do we have on the form? The form is trying to pay certain amount of money. So we assume that the user supplies the email for payment. Then the order, this is just a code. And the amount to pay is 800 Naira. The quantity is 3, that is 3 times 8. So I'm going to make the quantity 1. Then we are paying with Naira. MetaTrader, you can add values here if you so want. So I can pay, refresh my application. I can refresh my application. So now the system is not paying this. The it's not paying this. The system is going to pay 800, but we have to increase it with 00 because of the value of Kobo. So now I want to pay. Let's see if there's going to be payment. So if our payment shows up, fine. It shows I want to pay 800 naira. Now, can you see? The system sent 800 naira to our payment gateway. So this is just for test. So once you click success, the information goes back. So now we want to quickly do something. Instead of paying 800, I want to pay 8,000 naira. Now, when the application is coming back, and it's coming back to this place, we want to display the content. So the information that is coming back will be captured because our route is coming to this place. From here, it's coming to this place. So it's going to be captured and we're going to see the content through this method. Now, let's quickly do that. So say success. So we want to pay 800 naira first and see. So let's see if we are going to get information. Good. See, our payment is successful. You can see the test, the status says success. Then we have the reference. Then we have the amount that was paid. This is 8 naira. 8 naira 004. So you can capture all these and save them in database. So now the next step we're going to take is to capture all this information and save them in database. So how do we do that? So I'm going to gather my model. We created a model at the beginning of this tutorial. So we're going to capture, look at our model. So we have the payment model. So we're going to arrange our model based on the structure of our database. So we're going to do a small database. So we have our migration, which is a payment table. We have ID, which is auto-incremented, auto-increment. So we're going to have, let's store the amount, with a string value. So we're going to have amount. Amount is a string value, or we can make it, we are so sure, can make it a double value. We can have status. So status can be status. Let's use small letter to avoid confusion. We can have what is amount, transaction ID. We have trans ID. Have we have status, which is a string. We have string. We have what else can we have? Status. We have reference. So we have string. We have ref ID. Ref ID. So we can have list of data to be captured. So as much as you want to capture based on what we have after payment. So we can amount paid, status, transaction ID. You can even select the card that is used, the IP. You can keep as much as you want to keep. But for this tutorial, for us to quickly go through the tutorial, I'm going to be using this. So let's quickly migrate this. Now, if we migrate this, there's going to be an error because we've not set our database. So I'm going to create a database. So we have our database here. So I'm going to create the payment database. I'll call it payments. So that's all I need, payments. So the name of this database, I'll copy it and put it in my .env file. So in my .env, so I have my database name. My database is this, the root, I have a password. So this is not production, so it's just on my test system. So I'm free to use this. So now let's quickly migrate. All we have to do is to write a PHP artisan PHP. Okay, let's use this PHP artisan migrate so that we can migrate this to the database. Let's see. There's no error. Everything goes fine. Fine. The other things that were migrated, user, the password failed, and the payment that we created. So if we check our database now and check the structure, you see that this thing has been created, the user, the payment. So we're interested in this amount, status, transaction ID, RFID, the created time, and all of that. So all we now need to do now is to see how can we capture and paste our information there. So we are sending these parameters, the email. Oh, the email is not included. We should have our email also as part of the parameters that will be saved inside here. So I've created my database. So what I have to do now is just add email feed. I want to make sure that the email is also here. So I can add one feed. I can add one more feed. Add one after ID. So I want to put it after ID, add one feed. I'm going to call that feed email. Email, it's a string, backer. The length is 15. Then I can go and save it. It's been created. So if you see, our email field has been added. Now let's go to our application again and see. Since we have database already created and we can easily get all our information and slam them into the database. So from here, whatever that is supplied can be captured and can be saved in the database. I can reference this Paystack. Flow. So on Paystack, on the Stack Overflow, I want to quickly reference something. So I have this, how to save details. This is a very good function on how to save details into database. So we can capture our information with this. So I saved the information in database. So we have this. You can use this method. I just want to reference this. So let's quickly go into our information. So we have this that contains the information that is coming from the database. So let's comment this out. We're not going to reference our database. I'm going to call the model. So my payment is the model. So I'm going to have my protected. But let's make fillable. Protect. Sorry, I'm trying to get protected my few tables. So you can have something like this. So all the fillables I want to have the email is fillable, status is fillable based on our database. Based on our database of correction. So we're going to quickly make so we have our fillables. So based on what we have in our model, we're going to copy among just transactional reference side. So we have as much as we want to store. So these are the fillables. We have amount paid. So all these are fillables are things that can be captured and we have them stored in database. So the next thing is to capture them one after the other and store them in database. So I'm going to come here. Let me just copy this so I don't go forth and back. So now in our form, we have email. I can use this, can use this. So what else? I can have metadata, a reference can be captured, and I can save it. So as much as we have amount, we have email, we have order. So can have so we can just comment this section so that I won't be around my code. So you can create, you can import a model, you can use payment model, which is already added. Can you see this payment model is already added here? So we can make use of it. So we can call for creating. You can say, okay, payment model, create. Now I want to create something. So one of the things I want to create is going to be an array form. So we're going to have something like this inside our database. I have a better still. Let's instantiate payment. Let's call it a new payment. New payment. Now the object of this payment can be used to reference email. I say, okay, the email from database. Email, which is equal to the email that is coming from our payment data order, data capture, data MD, data this, data that. So we have the data email, we have the email, we have status, we have, so this is going to be for status. So we have amount, and this is going to be amount. So we have transaction ID. So we call this trans ID. So we assume that our transaction ID will keep changing. So we can use order ID. So we can use order ID. It's going to be our trans ID. We can also have reference. Our reference as our reference number. So it's going to be reference here. It's going to be reference here. So we'll call it ref ID based on what we have. Now database. So once this is done, we can call on save payment. Save. So this is a method. Now, if this is successful, if this is successful, what do you want the system to do? Return. We can return to the success page. Let's assume we have a view that is called success. Else, a view completed. With I'm going to create a phone call success. So in this page, we have on that page is just success. So we have this. So we have, if it's successful, fine. If it fails, it's going to go back to the fail message. You can capture and get a failure. But for the sake of time, let's see what we have done so far, if it's going to work or not. So we're here. We want to make payments. There's an error in our code in 56 of the controller payment. So 56, we have this. We have closed. We're not supposed to, okay, there's no semicolon here. So let's go back and see. Let's go back and see. Now we are set to go. Let's see if we're going to pay and if it's going to be in our database. Now we are paying 8,000 naira. Let's see it's going to be successful or not. Payment successful. Welcome. Undefined index email. There's an error. Email is not defined in our database, so we're having error. So why is email not defined? Let's check. My payment, do we have email? Yes, we have email. But do we have email database? Yes, we have email. So why is it not defined? Okay, let's check our form. We have it as email, name, email. Yes, we have it. So when we pay, let's try it again and see what exactly is going on. Let's see. Let's see. Successful. Email is still here. It has not been deployed. Now, let's see if we have email or not. We are going to remove this and see all the values that we have. So we're going to have this. Okay. Good. We have email as part of our data. Inside our data, data of customer email. Well, the data email is actually inside customer, so we have to pass email another array here. Its name customer. So what's actually going on here is that the email is not directly inside the data, so we have to still open another array called customer to check the email. So we have the email. Then we have amounts directly here. We have reference here. Status is here. What else? What else? What else? Okay, let's try it again. If we're going to have it now, let's see. So I've commented that. I'm going to try it again. Hopefully this time to go this now. So successful order ID, undefined order ID. So we have order ID is not defined. Let's see where order ID is. So we have to check again. Where's the order ID located? It's inside customer order ID. Let's check the customer. Do we have order ID there? No. We have order ID inside. Let's say it's not inside metadata. So our order ID is inside where? Yes, I think our order ID is ID actually. So we can use ID instead of order ID. So we can use our ID. Our ID as the ID of the transaction. So if we use ID and we comment this, hopefully everything should work now. Let me just refresh this and see. 2 pass to widths. Okay. Okay, let's remove this width and just return to our normal page. Save. Now let's go by it again. Let's go by it again. Let's go by it again. Payment. Wow, transaction is successful. I see transaction is successful. You can reroute it to another direction. If it fails, the direction will fail, then it goes to the form again. That's it. Then our payment gateway. Then let's see if we have the information database. Let's check our database. Wow, you see, database is this, and the status is success. So from there, you can check if this is success, then you can probably grant permission or something to your user so that they can continue with the application. So that's it on our Laravel Paystack integration to Laravel. So if you have any question, kindly drop it at the comment section. I will enjoy or appreciate your subscription to this channel just to encourage this free tutorial that I'm releasing. Thank you. Hope to see you in another tutorial.